Hello guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will share with you my key takeaways from my all-time favorite read, Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less by Greg Mckeown. My name is Behroz. I have more than 15 years of corporate experience and have deep passion for personal development and growth. So on this channel, I will share with you content that will help maximize your potential and growth out of my learning and experiences. Please do subscribe to this channel if you want me to continue creating such content. Now let's talk about essentialism. Note, this is not a book review. I will talk about key concepts of essentialism and how we can apply them in our workplace so that we can create time for what is most important to us. I have personally applied these principles and concepts of essentialism in my personal life, which has immensely benefited me by simplifying my work, creating more time, and increased focus for what brings me lasting happiness. Hence, in order to illustrate the application of these ideas and concepts, I will share examples from my personal life. Now let's start with the big idea. At its core, essentialism can be well represented by a German phrase, which I would not attempt to pronounce at all, but which means in English, less but better. The book lays down the case that the way of the essentialist is relentless pursuit for less but better, and not giving the principle a nod occasionally, but living it as part of your lifestyle. Now let me start by laying down the underlying belief, which is a must-have before we can even agree on the benefits of essentialism, let alone applying them in our daily life. Essentially, there are two underlying beliefs. Number one, the universal fact that we all possess limited resources when it comes to time and effort. Now let's assume we ignore the idea that we all possess limited resources, especially with regards to time, and pick up a project at work just out of sheer pressure or motivation. Now in that case, given we have limited time, we will have to end up borrowing time and resources from other priorities where that particular time and resources were originally allocated. This could be sleep, fitness, family. So something has to go or be compromised in case we moved resources from one place to another. So essentialism is not about how to get more things done, rather how to get right things done. There will always be trade-offs. We cannot have it all. Once we accept the reality of trade-off, we stop asking the question how I can make it all work. Rather, we start asking the more honest question, which is which problem do I want to solve? Essentialism doesn't mean doing less. Rather, it's about being wise in your investment of time and effort in order to maximize your potential and contribution by only doing what is essential. Now, second most important underlying belief of essentialism is that not all opportunities in this world are equal. Rather, many would be trivial and there would be a few opportunities that would be vital and most essential. This idea can be well explained by the famous 80-20 rule, according to which our top 20% of the efforts yield 80% of the results, while our bottom 80% of the efforts only yield 20% of the results. Now, once we've established the underlying belief system, let's talk about why is it so important to be an essentialist. The most important thing is that if you don't prioritize your life, then someone else will, given we have limited resources. So the question is not how we can do it all, rather the question is who will get to choose what we do and what we don't. Our bosses, our colleagues, and even our family will start choosing for us. And soon we will lose sight of what is meaningful and important to us. So for me personally, being an essentialist was to stop celebrating being busy as a measurement of importance. Rather, now I celebrate how much time I spend pondering, listening, meditating, spending time with people who matter the most, and doing activities which bring me lasting happiness. Also, why I became an essentialist was the day when I was able to tell the difference between a smart working individual in my office versus a hard working individual. And out of many observations that I've had, the core difference would lie in the fact that a smart working individual would focus on few opportunities and would give it their best and hence would look smart. While a hard working individual would be engaged in multiple opportunities and hence would require him or her to sit for late sittings or even work on weekends. Now let's move ahead and talk about how to be an essentialist. First and foremost, there is a need to have clarity of purpose. You need to lay down and know what is most important to you. In absence of this clarity, we waste time and energy in order to look good in comparison with other people. We start to follow their goals and their purpose instead of having clarity of our own. We simply start to value non-essentials like having a nice car or the number of followers I have on social media. As a result, we neglect activities that are truly essential, like spending time with loved ones, nurturing your spirit, or taking care of your health. When we are unclear about what is important to us, we become defenseless against all the variety of options that are around us. However, having strong clarity of purpose works like a force field which protects us against all the non-essential options out there surrounding us. Second must-have to be an essentialist is to say no firmly and gracefully more often. Because the essentialist truly knows that if they don't say no now, eventually they will wake up to the reality that something else has to be sacrificed. They will have to take time or effort out of some other priority which may be more essential and more important than to the one they have said yes to. To be able to say no more often, we have to conquer 3 entrenched assumptions. I have to, it is important, and I can do it both. And replace these false assumptions with 3 core truths. I choose to, only a few things really matter, and I can do anything but not everything. These simple truths enable us to pursue what really matters and live our life at its highest contribution. Now, the third pillar of being an essentialist is the ability to make trade-offs. This requires us to explore all the options that are out there, eliminate the ones that are not essential because we have the clarity of purpose and we have the power of saying no now. And third is to execute the ones which are essentials. Now, given we have more time and more effort now, since it's not our effort and time is not dispersed across different options, we can tackle and we can handle only those few essential and do it in the best way possible. So eliminate any obstacle around it and deliver them to the highest potential and to its highest ability. Do note that an essentialist versus a non-essentialist, since they are looking for the most important activity and opportunity, they explore more options and view opportunities as non-equal and then distinguish the vital few from the many available and only tackle them. So now I will share how I've applied these principles of essentialism to my daily work so I can create more time out of my work and invest in areas which are more essential to me. Now, first and foremost is defining and having the clarity of what is important to me. For this, I have called out different roles that I have and prioritize them. So when it comes to roles, for instance, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a lead finance professional, I'm a fitness enthusiast, and so on and so forth. Additionally, my passion points and things that bring me happiness is, for instance, reading, consuming content around self-development and personal growth. Secondly, creating content around the same subject. So once all these roles and passion points have been laid down, they need to be prioritized with regards to what is the most important role or passion that you have and what is the least important. So when you have to trade time, you exactly know from where you should be taking out time and where you should be reinvesting. Now, second application of essentialism in my work is knowing how to make the trade-offs. So whenever a request comes to me, starting with an assumption that I have limited time, I start by asking these 2 questions. Can I actually deliver on this request with the time and resources that I have allocated to my work or not? If the answer is no, then I refuse it. Question number 2 is it the most important thing that I should be doing with my time and effort and energy at hand? Again, if the answer is no, then I refuse it. Third application is having the courage to say no. So I can say yes to things which add value both to myself and to the wider organization that I'm working for. Now, saying no at the moment is usually discomforting. So here are a couple of ways I try to say no. One is to buy time. For instance, I go by saying, let me check my calendar and see if I can make time for this. And then you have all the time to go and look into your calendar and really assess whether the opportunity that came your way or the request that came your way, can you really deliver on it or not? And if not, then you can always muster the courage to go back and tell the person no and why, versus trying to tell them no instantly on that particular moment when they've asked you for that particular request. Now, second is to say yes, but then ask a question to the person who's putting in the request, which is, please tell me what should I deprioritize. Now, this is what I would ask to my managers if they would come to me with a request and I know that I don't have time and resources for it within the time that I've allocated for work. I won't be able to deliver on that task. So I ask the question back, which is, yes, I want to do this task, but please tell me or advise what should I deprioritize. The idea here is that you give the image that you are ready to give your 100% best, but you know you won't be able to deliver your 100% best because you have other priorities that you're currently working on, and hence you want to deprioritize something so you can give your best contribution to this particular project. Now, other than these three big pillars, I've adopted the following key behaviors at my workplace. For instance, I've stopped volunteering for assignments and projects that come my way or to my team's way at last minute. Secondly, I'm not the first to jump on an email trail. I usually sit back and let others jump in. I don't attend meeting if there is no contribution that I can add to the meeting, or if the information that is being shared in the meeting is not relevant for me. Just because I'm invited in a particular meeting doesn't mean that I have to attend. I've stopped reading long emails and stopped writing long emails. Now I just pick up the phone and talk to the person. Also, when an assignment comes to me, I ask the question, how urgent is it and how important it is. The urgency tells me if I have to deprioritize something in the near future, and the importance tells me how much effort and accuracy do I need to put in that particular assignment. Now, being an essentialist is a long process, but the benefits are endless. And here is how I've personally benefited from being an essentialist. First and foremost is having the clarity. Now, life for me is not about rushing through my schedule or crossing off everything that I have on my to-do list. Rather, every day I get more clarity on what are the most essential things for me that I want to invest time in. And when I'm working on those things or on those projects and assignments, they become effortless because that is where my heart is, that is where my passion is. Secondly, I feel I have more control of my life now. I can stand back, think about the opportunity that has come my way, and can comfortably push back. I feel less and less function of other people's list and agendas. Again, as I said earlier, that if you don't prioritize your life, then you are giving someone else the right to prioritize it for you. Hence, given the prioritization is in my own hands, I feel more in control now. Lastly, is having more joy in the journey. With the focus and clarity on what is important to me, I've started to live life more fully because, again, I'm investing time in things and in priorities which I'm passionate about. I've started to live more in the present and have started to make more joyful memories. Thank you guys. Hope you liked the video. In case you did, please do press on the like button. Additionally, please do subscribe to the channel so I can continue to create content around personal development and growth which will maximize your potential. Thank you.